Hey, true believers. Chris Mack coming at you this weekend with, surprisingly, another awesome figure review. This is the Marvel Legends Warlock Build-A-Figure Wave Polaris. And I walked by this figure so many times at my local Walmart. I was like, no. But the way that I finally ended up getting her is they put her on clearance for $10, and I said, you know what? Why not? So I got her home, took her out of the package, and I actually love this figure. It is so awesome. Speaking of which, if you guys want to pick this up, I did see that she is available at Big Bad Toy Store, and not the other places that we usually talk about, like DMW or Megaopolis. Neither of those places. Now, you may want to check and see if any of your local Walmarts still have this wave in stock, or, might want to scour your clearance aisles as well, because I found her in Dazzler and then Cannonball Forge and Morph as well. So you may get lucky, which, fingers crossed, I hope you do. If not, please make sure to call your local comic shop and see if they don't have it in stock or if they can get it ordered for you. So as you see here, we have the window, we have the Warlock Build-A-Figure piece here. Looks great. I love the X-Men logo they use there. Marvel's Polaris. And then up here, it says Build-A-Figure Warlock. Flip it around this way. I really like that product shot of Polaris that they used, though I wish it kind of been more of the Claremont era, but that's neither here nor there. Flip it around here. Love this product shot. Very great stuff. You also get the lineup of all the figures you need to build Warlock, so I'll make sure to get a close-up where you guys can pause it and take a look at it at your leisure. And then you flip it around this side, you see that same product shot there. Very awesome. Come back around this way. See that cool little, what is it called? Spot varnish logo of the X there. Come back around here to the bottom. All the legal stuff, who cares? But what we do care about is, do you guys think that this Polaris is an awesome figure? So let's go ahead and get her out of the box and get a closer look at Lorna Dane. And here's Polaris out of her packaging. And just on this initial glance, she looks great up on the flying stand. You get the nice swooping cape going on, and of course her effects going on. Just looks wonderful. It makes me wonder why I walked past it so many times at Walmart, because now that you actually get her out and get her posing, she just looks so cool and very much captures the essence of the Claremont era before the Peter David X Factor, which we went over last time. So yeah, I just wanted to put her up here on this stand and just enjoy how the posability, as you can see, and how well she just looks overall with her cape. I'd love to hear what y'all think about her down in the comments below, just on the initial glance before we even get into paint apps, articulation, and everything else. I think this looks great. So with all of that said, how about we get Ms. Dane here off the spinner, and let's get a closer look at her wonderful accessories and just enjoy the figure for what it is. And so here are the accessories that Lorna comes with. Now we'll go ahead and kind of knock these out of the way because we've seen these on so many figures, and they can, excuse me, they can become monotonous because, you'd think that Hasbro would try to switch it up a little bit, maybe try to put like some power ripples coming up off, but I bet you 10-1 it's probably because of cost efficiency that they just recolor them and whatnot. And there are some characters that we will be getting into here in the near future that, they've actually taken some chances on, and it works quite well. But for her, she just gets the regular ones. I can't complain. I like the yellow. Really helps, kind of set with the green. That yellow effect really looks nice, especially when you start playing with it and alternate in Photoshop or whatnot. Or, when you hit it just right with spotlights and whatnot, you can get some nice glow to those. So yeah, nothing new here, but I appreciate that they give you two and they look nice. So we got those. And then I like this cape. I mean, there's nothing really to it. It just looks like a big glob of green, as you can see. But I appreciate that if you look at it close enough, even though it's plastic, I like that they kind of gave it that shimmer, so it looks like it's vinyl. It's very bendy, so, do some nice poses. And then there's a peg on her back, so you can click it there. I like that they made sure on the cowl, or on the cowl portion for the shoulders, that they gave it more of a light green, so it looks like it's connecting into her shoulders. Really nice. And of course, just like with drawing, I like that they make sure to give the nice ripple effect there, so that looks really good. And you can see no obvious blemishes So yeah, I like all the waves. I like the way that that reflects off the light, so it looks more vinyl-y, even though it's supposed to be cloth. But you know, we've all had figures that have cloth and it does not work right. So I like this loose plastic for that. So at least, you know, if you want to, and again, do this at your own risk, you can heat it up and try to set it up however you want. But yeah, the cape's really nice. So not a whole lot of accessories, but at least with what she comes with, you know, it enhances the figure, because that's what accessories are. It's not supposed to take away from your main subject, which is the figure. So at least these help enhance the way she looks. And so for Polaris, let's go ahead and start with her paint apps, because, you know, you would think that using green all the way through a figure would be overkill, but I think Hasbro did a really nice job of capturing all the different layers of green, because, you know, back in the day, that's what the color that Polaris rocked. Now, if you want to hear more about her backstory, make sure to check out the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary X Factor 2-pack that we did last week. I'll leave a link right here on the top, because I kind of went over her backstory and I just don't want to rehash it on another review, you know what I mean? So we'll just go ahead and jump into how nice this figure looks. So just like the other one, I love that they use this shimmering green for the lipstick. That's really nice. And it's hard to see here, but the eyes are really nice. Got that nice little hints of green, especially on the eyebrows. So it looks like an actual human eyes. And then, of course, I like the little tiara here, which is kind of like the Scarlet Witch's, but that's what she wore. Again, I like this hairstyle that they gave her. And, of course, they kind of gave it more of a dark green, but then they did the, what do you call it? The dry brushing with the black just really helps make the hair pop. Really nice sculpt all the way through. Same thing with the flesh tone. Doesn't look wrong. It looks, you know, humanistic. I like the way that they did the nose. So, you know, works well. You know, you kind of dip it upwards like this where the light hits it. You can kind of see the nostrils. And then when you look down, shades just correctly. You know, you get the shadow up underneath there. Same thing on the neckline. Looks really nice. I like the body here. Looks really good. I like the way that they did the design here. And it doesn't look, even though you have that torso ab crunch there, it doesn't take away from it, because, you know, the early Legends, I remember, I think it was the Toy Biz ones where they were starting to get into this articulation, and it just really took away. Again, flesh tone looks really nice. I like these bracers that she has. I like the way that it's a darker green, and of course it reflects with the light on both sides. Looks really good. And then I like how to kind of break up the monotony of her torso, they use kind of a more, what would you call it, forest green. So that looks good. No scratches, no blemishes, as you can see. Same thing on the back. There's the hole where the cape goes in. Fits really well. So, you know, just go ahead and play with it how you wish. Now, I kind of do wish that this right here, that the Lego Mumbo Jumbo, I wish they would have put that either in her inner thigh or on her foot. I hate when they put it right on the figure. That is a pet peeve of mine. Come down to the boots here, and I like this really, it's kind of a neat design how they did the dark green, and then they kind of did like this little U effect here. So that's really neat. And then it wraps around the legs. Feet look good. See how they put the legal stuff there? I guess they ran out of room. So it is what it is. Now, I think my only problem with my Polaris, I don't know if this is with all of them, but if you look at the rib section here, you can kind of see where, you know, they glued it. So it kind of has a little bit of a gap. That's kind of frustrating, but when you're posing or doing photography, that's not really going to stand out. That's just a personal pet peeve, because, you know, if you're going to buy a figure, I want it to look complete, not where we can actually see your factory blemishes. That's kind of frustrating. So that is the Polaris's paint apps in a nutshell. And one thing that I do also want to talk about here, I could talk about it in the articulation, but I figure let's go ahead and get it out of the way now. When you get her out of the box, I don't know if this is going to be the same for every Polaris figure, but I had the same problem with my X Factor Lorna. So on this foot, see how it's still kind of lightly bent out to the side? This was bent out even further. So what I'm about to tell you, please do at your own risk. So a lot of reviewers will say use a hair dryer or a, what's it called? Or a blow dryer. I use a space heater. So I heated up the figure until this leg was nice and loose. And once it was, I kind of bent this in to make it match. And I may have to do it again to get that a little bit more in, but this was way out. So it was real frustrating to try to pose her and the X Factor Lorna. So let me kind of bring her feet in. But see how her foot is flat now? Hers was bent out like this. So if you guys have the know-how, go for it. But if you're not comfortable doing it, do not do it. I do not want you to hurt yourself, and I don't want you to ruin your toys. If you know friends that can do it, ask them to do it. So again, just do it at your own risk, but it really helps because sometimes I know it's probably not Hasbro's fault. It's probably just going on the factory line. But at least in doing what I did, she actually stands a lot better. As we're out of the box, it was kind of like, all right, she's going to fall all over the place, and this is frustrating. So yeah, just a little extra something that, you know, for those of you that like to modify toys, there's one for you to grow on. So for articulation, we'll go ahead and start with the head. Get some focus for you guys. She can look down really well, as you can see, just bloop, all the way down. Now, because a lot of these characters have this big hair, it's hard to get them to look all the way up. So what you can do is, because a lot of these figures on the ball joint, they can do that. So, you know, you tilt it forward, you can get that like that, and then if you push it backwards, you can get a little bit more, but not a whole lot that way, which is frustrating. You can tilt the head, again, because the hair that way that much, and about that much that way, and then because of the thing, you can get some really good tilt motion, so that's really cool. Arms can go out that much, and then if you spin this joint up, she can go all the way up that way. Arms spin 360, which is good. She does have, you can spin at the elbow, so that helps a lot. And she does have double jointed elbows. So with these type of characters, see this kind of like little lip here in the back? If you have, get a focus for y'all. If you have this short part in the front, then you're going to get single jointed action. Now, if you take this double side and rotate it around this way, then that's where you're going to get the more double jointed action on the elbows. So I appreciate that. That at least kind of gives you some options. So very awesome on Hasbro's part. Now the hands can spin 360. The one thing that you do need to be aware of is, one thing about these bracers is the hands can tilt down, but because of the bracer here, it's about that far up, which is still not too bad. Just make sure to be, you know, aware of what you're doing there. Now she doesn't have a torso twist. She does it at the ab crunch, which about that much that way, that much that way. She can go back that much, which is really helpful when it comes to flying poses. She can look down about that much, which is not too bad. Legs can go out that much, can kick that much forward, and about that much backwards. So nice range of motion there. And thankfully, double jointed knees. Whoop whoop. Thankfully. Now the feet go down that much. Let me do that one because that one's still what I'm working on. That much up, that much down, and of course she has a little bit of ankle pivots. This one's a little bit of a turd because of me having to readjust it. And then of course she has the upper thigh cut there, which really helps. Sadly no boot cut, so it's kind of like crud. But overall, that's the articulation of Polaris. So not too bad. This is an older figure too. You know, like the newer ones are a lot more posable. But for an earlier generation one, not too bad. As you can see, you get a nice range of motion. And I like that, you know, even though you think, oh, crud, she has single jointed elbows. But if you play with it the way that I did, you can get it into a double jointed pose. So, heck yeah, great articulation. So for some compare and contrast, here's some of my favorite X-Ladies. So here is the Marvel's 80th Anniversary X Factor 2-pack Lorna Dane that we went over last week. This is the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure series Domino, and this is the Walgreens exclusive Magic, or Ileana Rasputin. And as you can see, guys, they just look wonderful together. You know, Ileana is the youngest. She started out as a new mutant, so, you know, she's still, by this point when she has this black uniform, I think she's somewhere in her early to mid 20s. Domino, I'm not sure how old she is, but she's been around for a while, just about as long, well, no, not as long as Polaris. She came out around the 90s, which we'll get into her first appearance and all that stuff later. But still, you can tell that, these are the older ladies, and they all scale pretty well. She's a little crouched, but she's about the same head height as these two Polarises. And again, as I was getting at, Ileana is the younger one, so I like that she's just a little bit smaller. I think these characters sit at about 6'1". If you guys want to, let me know down in the comments, because I'm not going to bust out the ruler and get all technical. The idea is just to celebrate these figures and just to enjoy that we actually have tangible action figures from all the books that we grew up reading, and that's what I love about these. And that's why when I see these type of characters, I go, yes, yes, please, definitely go in my collection. And as I said in my last X Factor review, you get her, and then you get the Juggernaut Build-A-Figure Wave, Havoc, which has the black uniform. It's the newer version, but nonetheless, it looks like it's closer. That's going to look great. And then you're going to have her and the newer Peter David Havoc, and you're just going to be set with your X Factor team. And then if you guys want to pick these two up, they are going to look exquisite too, especially if you have the Cable. And any Colossus is going to look good there, so you guys will have your whole X family, and it's going to be all good in the hood. So let me know what you guys think of these figures down in the comments below. Overall, I think this is a really slick figure. I can't believe that I walked past it so many times at Walmart thinking, no way am I going to get this thing. But again, I found it at clearance, picked it up, I think for like $10, and I finally cracked it open, started messing with it, and I went, yeah, this is a really cool figure. I can't believe that I passed up on this thing. So if you guys can, make sure to check out your local Walmarts, because you never know what kind of cool little gems you are going to find in your clearance section. I found her, I found Dazzler, and I think I found Cannonball. I'm not 100% sure on that. So yeah, if you guys have enjoyed this figure, please make sure to support your local comic shop and pick it up. Now, at the time of this recording, if we're all still locked down, call and see if they can order it for you, because what's cool is in the midst of all this with staying safe is a lot of shops are doing curbside pickup. Some will actually go out of their way to deliver it to your house, and then there's also the chance of mailing it. If not, then just go ahead and go online and see what you guys can pick up that way. And if you guys have enjoyed this review, we definitely would appreciate if you take a minute to hit like, share, and subscribe. It helped the club channel more than you possibly know, especially since we've had to start over and we're persevering, getting videos that we had backed up re-uploaded, and the ones that we lost, unfortunately, we are recutting, such as Polaris here. And make sure to stick around for the end of the video, because we will have a cool photo slide gallery of Polaris and some cool poses and all that jazz. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that fancy little X bell next to subscribe, that way as we continue to upload content, you guys can come to the channel, and we love to hear your thoughts and your feedback down in the comments below or on our social media pages, which I will make sure to leave the links down in the description below. So with all that said, I hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, true believers.